Hey gang, thanks so much for joining us for this second installment. This week we are inspired by the scripture Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart for everything you do flows from it. Our design element this week is stripes, and our color inspiration is a triad, and I'm using purple, green, and orange, and those colors will be listed below in the description. All right, I'm working in my junk journal again. On my spread has one side that's blank and one side that is a form, so it's got that design element of stripes already in it. And I am going to go over that with this orange DecoArt Americana orange sherbet multi-surface satin. I'm putting some deli paper underneath my pages so that my paint doesn't spread to the pages beneath. I like the translucence of the paint though, because you can see what's going on underneath it. So that gives us that striped design element that's part of our inspiration. So now I'm going to get started on this other side of the spread. It's a completely blank page because it's the back of a book page with text on the other side. And I'm going to start laying in some collage. I have a piece of vintage wallpaper and also a page from a magazine that has an animal stripe to it. The vintage wallpaper brings in our green and we're repeating the orange with the animal stripe on the left side. I'm laying in the collage using, again, a DecoArt product. It's the decopague medium in satin. Now it's time to get a little purple in for our triad. So I'm using this floral scrapbooking paper in purple, and I've just ripped a strip of it to bring the stripe element in once again to the spread. All right, so now I want to add this lady in here. She's cut out of a magazine, and I don't know, she looks like she maybe needs to guard her heart. But then again, don't we all? So I'm going to trim around her and hand her in here. And then I want to add some more elements around her. I have a nice collection of postage stamps. So I think I'm going to lay those in sort of in a column, again, bringing that stripe element into the layout. I think I'm going to continue with this stamp theme. I have some of these vintage redemption stamps that you could redeem merchandise from. So I'm going to add a little bit of that behind her here for another sort of stripe or column element. And then I think I'll add some more maybe on the other side, postage stamps. I love this cool floral one. It's got our green and our purple on it too. All right, now I have found a piece from a magazine with some text on it that says, "May never feel this," which kind of makes me, it relates to the idea of guarding your heart to protect you from emotional pain that you may suffer if you're not careful. So I think that goes right along with the theme. Then I'm going to add some additional postage stamps in green to this spread. I think I'm just really loving the way the postage stamps are working with this spread. That top left purple one that I added in is a woman with a bunch of children. I think that really speaks to the theme of guarding your heart and protecting yourself for those that we need to care for as well. So you may have noticed this tag that has appeared. I painted this earlier with all of my paint colors in stripes, and I'm just not really sure how it fits with the page. I'm not 100% sure because it's so clean and I don't know, specific looking. So I think ultimately, no, it's not the right thing. These are just some pieces of scrapbook paper that I have ripped, and I'm going, see, it's the purple floral that I used previously, and I'm just going to paint that with my DecoArt multi-surface satin in leprechaun to get some green. And this is where I'm going to actually add the text for my verse onto the page. And I am going to just write that directly on to these pieces of paper, just ripping the edge so it'll fit, and getting the layout right. And then I'm going to just directly onto those pieces of paper, I'm going to write the portion of my verse that I want to include, which is, "Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life." So I've been really careful not to use the decoupage medium on top of where I wrote with the ink because it might smear. And now I'm going back in with the green leprechaun paint just along the edges where I ripped the paper, just to kind of fill that in so it just doesn't show the white ripped edge of the paper. I still feel like it needs a little bit more up in that top right corner, so I'm going to use this tissue paper. I'm going to take one of the orange flowers out of that and add that up there in the top with my decoupage medium. So now clearly we need a couple of hearts on the page since our verse is about guarding your heart. So I've cut a green heart out of some scrapbook paper, and I cut an orange heart out of an orange carnival tag. So I'm going to add those in with the decoupage medium just to add one more fun element and to refer back to the heart that we're speaking about. Now we're kind of down to the finishing touches of the page. There's a couple of spots I just want to kind of sponge in some orange paint to make sure things kind of just meld together, to hide some edges, maybe of paper. And then I've got, this is a pencil that is charcoal and oil. It's called a Jumbo Jet from Jerry's Artorama, one of my favorite things. And I'm just kind of using that to go around the edges of some of my shapes to make them stand out from the background just a little bit better. You can see it makes them kind of just pop more. Now the charcoal in that pencil is water soluble, so I'm just adding a little bit of water underneath to kind of spread it out a little bit underneath these torn pages to make it look more like a shadow. And there we have it. That's my page. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for joining us. I hope you'll create your own artwork inspired by the challenge, and you're welcome to join my private group, Amy Smith Art Party, on Facebook to share what you have done. Thanks.